I want you to picture someone for a second. I'm 30, no debt, zero. Not a credit card balance, not a car payment, not a student loan hanging over my head. My bills are $900 a month, which, if you've looked at a rent listing recently, you know is basically a miracle. I work full-time, grind a side hustle on top of that, and I've even started planning a vacation. By almost every traditional measure, I'm doing fine. And yet, I lie awake at night panicking about money. It's the first thing I think about in the morning. It's the only thing I talk about with my family. I describe myself as being in a constant state of slight panic, my own words, even though I can pay my bills, buy my groceries, and still go out a couple times a month. Sound familiar? Because here's what nobody is saying out loud. Feeling financially behind has almost nothing to do with how much money you actually have. And today, I want to talk about why, and more importantly, what you can actually do about it when you're starting from the bottom with no one in your corner who ever showed you how any of this works. Let's be honest about something first. There is an entire generation of people, mostly in their late 20s and 30s, who grew up in households where money was either never discussed or only discussed when there wasn't enough of it. No one sat them down and explained compound interest. No one walked them through what a 401k actually does. No one told them that the difference between starting to invest at 22 versus 32 could be hundreds of thousands of dollars by the time they retire. They just weren't told. And now they're adults, watching TikToks about people their age with $50,000 in their Roth IRA, reading Reddit posts about index funds and net worth milestones, and feeling like they somehow missed a class that everyone else apparently took. Here's the uncomfortable truth. That class didn't exist. You didn't miss it. It was never offered. The school system taught you how to find the area of a triangle, a skill most of us have used exactly 0 times since graduation, and sent you out into the world completely unprepared to manage the one thing that will affect every single decision you make for the rest of your life. So if you're 30, or 35, or 40, and you feel like you're starting from scratch, you're not behind. You're just starting without the head start that some people got and most people pretend they earned. Now, let's get into what's actually going on here, because I think when people say, "I feel financially behind," there are usually two completely separate problems getting tangled together, and treating them like one problem is exactly why the panic never goes away. Problem number one is practical. $800 in savings when your monthly expenses are $900 is genuinely stressful. That's less than 1 month of runway. One bad car repair, one unexpected medical bill, one slow week on DoorDash, and you're negative. That fear isn't irrational. That fear is completely accurate. Your brain is doing the math correctly, and the math is uncomfortable. Problem number two is psychological. And this one is sneakier. It's the feeling that you're permanently damaged because you started late, that you'll never catch up, that because no one taught you about the 401k at 22, you've somehow forfeited your shot at a stable financial future. That $800 in savings isn't just $800. It's evidence of every bad decision you've ever made. Proof that you don't have what it takes, a number that defines your worth. Here's the thing. Problem one has a solution. Problem two is a story you're telling yourself, and stories can be rewritten. Let's talk about both. Okay, $12 an hour, full-time, DoorDash on the side, bills of $900, a little left over for food, fun, and savings. Let's actually work with this instead of pretending it's hopeless. Step 1. The emergency fund is the only thing that matters right now. I know everyone talks about investing, and we'll get there, but here's the truth. You cannot think clearly about your financial future when you are one emergency away from zero. That low-grade panic you feel, a lot of it is coming from the very real and very legitimate knowledge that your safety net is paper thin. The goal right now before anything else is to get that savings account to $2,000, then $3,000. Ideally, 3 full months of your expenses, which puts you around $2,700. That's it. That's the whole mission for right now. And I know that sounds slow, but think about it this way. If you can put $200 a month into savings, which might mean cutting back a little, picking up a few extra DoorDash shifts, or just being intentional, you'll hit $2,000 in 6 months. 6 months from now, the panic starts to quiet down. Not because you're rich, because you've bought yourself time. Step 2. Stop beating yourself up about the 401k. Starting your 401k in your late 20s is not a disaster. I want to be really clear about that. Yes, starting earlier is better. That's just math. But you know what's worse than starting late? Not starting at all, which is what millions of people do because they feel so guilty about being late that they just freeze. If your employer offers any kind of match, even a small one, contribute enough to get the full match. That is free money. That is a 50% or 100% instant return on what you put in, which no stock market on the planet can reliably promise you. Contribute at least enough for the match. Full stop. Step 3. Your expenses are actually your superpower. $900 a month in bills is extraordinary. Most people your age are paying that just in rent. The fact that you've managed to keep your overhead that low, whether by choice or circumstance, means that every dollar you earn goes further than it does for most people. You don't need a raise to make progress. You have more margin than you think. The enemy right now isn't your income. It's lifestyle creep. The slow, sneaky way that spending expands to fill whatever you earn. Every time you get a little more money, whether from DoorDash, a raise, a tax refund, resist the urge to spend it. That extra money is the gap between where you are and where you want to be. Now, I want to say something that I don't think financial YouTube talks about enough. Growing up in a household where money was never discussed, where no one modeled saving, where living paycheck to paycheck was just the water you swam in, that leaves a mark. Not just practically, in the form of habits you never learned, but emotionally, in the form of anxiety that follows you even when the numbers actually aren't that bad. I know, logically, that I'm in the best financial situation of my entire adult life. I said that myself, out loud, and I still can't stop panicking. That's not a math problem. That's a nervous system that was trained from childhood to associate money with fear and scarcity and crisis. And you can't fix that with a budget spreadsheet. What actually helps, beyond the practical steps, is rewriting the story. The story that says you're behind assumes there's a finish line everyone else is racing toward. And you started too late. But there's no finish line. There's just the direction you're moving. And right now, I'm moving in the right direction. No debt, growing savings, a 401k that exists, a side income, a vacation I'm paying for on my own terms. That's not a disaster story. That's a comeback story. And comeback stories, if you let them, are a lot more interesting than the ones where everything just went according to plan. If you've ever felt like you're watching everyone else figure out money, while you're still trying to find the instruction manual, this channel is for you. We're not here for people who already have it figured out. We're here for the people who started late, who weren't taught, who are building from zero with no safety net and no family wealth to fall back on. Hit subscribe if that's you, and drop a comment below, because I genuinely want to know, what's the one money thing you wish someone had explained to you earlier?